Recommend following minutes from the January 27th, 2025 regular meeting and the January 27th executive session. May I have a motion?
Motion.
May I have a second? Any questions? All right. No questions. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes. Item number 4, reports. We will have our student representative reports. I'd like to have our junior high school representative, Jacob Wilczek, to come on board.
Good evening. How you guys doing? Well, this month at the junior high has been packed with activities, especially our athletic activities. As you know, our winter sports seasons are coming to a close this month. Sorry. Our 7A girls basketball team, coached by Mr. Marucci, finished this season at 6 wins and 6 losses. Elena Irvin was the leading scorer with 195 points, and Alexa Bonds was the top rebounder with 72. The tremendous effort and determination the girls showed this year was unmatched and showed great promise for future seasons. The 7A boys basketball team was a strong group that continued to grow under Coach Steelman's instruction. Many teams and games this season were battles, but the team always played hard until the final buzzer. Our biggest win this season was at our final home game against one of our rivals, Barnegat. The bleachers were packed and it all came down to the last 3 possessions. This year's team was competitive from the opening tip-off. We had some big plays and capitalized on some big turnovers and beat Barnegat for the first time in many years. Great way for this great team to end this great season. The National Junior Honor Society recently assembled mint bags with notes for Captain Christina Colello to distribute to troops overseas. They're also planning this year's National Junior Honor Society induction ceremony scheduled for May 15th at 6 p.m. at the junior high. The Yearbook Club continues to meet and lay out pages for the 2024-25 book. They've currently sold 105 yearbooks and are looking to meet and surpass their goal of 140. Currently, the newspaper club is looking forward to go online again with a new issue of the Wildcat War with a new name and new format. They will also be releasing a podcast in coming months and are looking forward to possibly adding a vlog series to their repertoire as well. The Diversity Council, while it's hit a few bumps in the road over the last year or so, is not only looking to increase membership, but also increase awareness about the great things diversity can bring with a series of movies offerings after school in March and April, including Remember the Titans, Moana, and Science Fair, among others. For Wildcats in Action, they tabled during lunches for the Great American Smokeout, where students pledged to stay smoke-free and were featured on the wall of crates in the downstairs E-hallway to promote a non-smoking lifestyle. This initiative highlighted our commitment to a healthy smoke-free environment at the junior high school. For Students Against Destructive Decisions, we celebrated National Random Acts of Kindness Week by partnering with our school's student assistance counselor to have students complete kindness notes during homeroom. Homeroom teachers collected the notes and had them hand-delivered to students at the end of the week, spreading positivity and kindness throughout our building. The new robotics club has been building robots with Lego Spike Prime kits, and programming them to perform specific tasks and complete challenges. They have registered with the first LEGO League Challenge competition network and look forward to competing in the fall. Finally, I would like to mention an event that is scheduled this week. On Friday, February 28th from 6 to 8 p.m., Pinelands will be hosting the first of 2 line dancing nights in the high school gymnasium. Pinelands Entertainment will be teaching the line dances, and it's completely free for all those who attend. Anyone who lives in the communities that Pinelands Regional serves are invited, including employees, and we are able to host this event via a grant from Atlantic Care, and our mission with it is to try and improve family and community engagement with our school. We would like to thank Mrs. Lawrence in the junior high school and Mrs. Irvin in the high school for making this event possible. They take time out of their own lives to write the grants every year to bring various health initiatives as well as AED machines to the benefit of our students and their families, community members, and staff that Pinelands Regional serves. It looks like it is going to really be a great time for all those who attend. Overall, I think that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jacob. And now we'll hear from Max Ramos.
Good evening, everyone. February has been an incredibly busy month here at Pinelands Regional High School, and I am excited to share some of the highlights with you. Our students are currently selecting courses for the upcoming school year. To help guide this process, our film students have created fantastic introductory videos to assist their peers in making informed choices. As winter sports seasons wrap up, we've seen outstanding performances across the board. Senior night celebrations were held for all winter teams. The boys basketball team had a stellar season, securing victories against Pilgrim Academy, Atlantic Christian, Shore Regional, and Toms River South. The girls basketball team capped off their season with a win over Oakcrest. Wrestling has been on a roll, defeating New Egypt, Shore Regional, Spotswood, and Lakewood. We wish Jake and Wyatt luck as they advance to regions. Both the boys and girls bowling teams triumphed over Lakewood in their final matches. Track and field also shone with impressive performances at the NJSIAA South Group 2 sectionals. With winter sports concluding, we're eagerly anticipating the start of spring sports. We also held our AP Pep Rally to recognize our AP students and raise awareness about higher education opportunities available right here at our school. The class of 2025 and 2026 has been busy planning their proms. The class of 2026 recently hosted a Super Bowl Chick-fil-A fundraiser and is working on a special pathway of Paul Prince to honor student athletes. The class of 2025 is keeping the school spirit alive by selling pizza in the Commons on 5 dates throughout the rest of the year and organizing a volleyball tournament on March 4th. The high school student government will also be hosting a Chick-fil-A fundraiser on March 4th. Our History Club hosted a successful bake sale, raising funds to support the Red Cross in its efforts to assist those impacted by the devastating wildfires in California. The Special Olympics of New Jersey held a fantastic Valentine's Day dance and a bowling night, giving students opportunities to unwind and have fun. This year's Valentine's dance had one of the best turnouts and was incredibly fun and exciting. These dances and events' impact has definitely grown over the past few years. The Yearbook Club got into the Valentine's spirit by selling roses and the unique fundraiser that let students take over their favorite teacher for a day. They also held a memorable fashion show. The Spanish Club, along with the Spanish Honor Society, is doing their annual Pulsera project, selling handmade bracelets in order to help raise money for those in need in Nicaragua and Guatemala. The Science Club has been hard at work cleaning out the greenhouse to prepare for the upcoming growing season. Meanwhile, our thespians are putting in long hours rehearsing for their upcoming production of Mean Girls, set to debut in March. Lastly, the Cat Shack ran a delightful thrift shop in the Commons, offering great deals and finds for a good cause. With all this activity, we're looking forward to an exciting March ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. And now Dr. McCooley will present the superintendent's report.
Thank you. I only have a few things, and I'm going to be presenting some mid-year data. The first thing I have is the Pinelands Alumni and Friends Foundation is hosting a dine and donate with Doyle's local restaurant. Kevin, if you show the flyer or mention it, a portion of the proceeds will go to the alumni. Find this flyer also on the Cat Eye. So if you need that, you can reach out to me or go on the Cat Eye, and hopefully you can help us out with that. I want to thank Marissa, Scott, and KK for all of their work that they did with the vendors from to announce that our high school is now out of targeted assistance for the subcategory that we were in with special education. Lastly,
just want to ask you all to move your microphones a little bit closer to you. We're not going to sing, but we're gonna bring them closer so we can be heard when we speak. All right. Presentations. Our first presentation is by Robert Mulligan, presenting our audit.
Hi, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Robert Mulligan. I am an audit manager with HFA. Very happy to be here. Just give my report on the June 30th, 2024 audit. I like to keep my presentation short and sweet, but obviously if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out or ask as we go. When it comes to the audit, the first place that I always point people to, in your case, is pages 1 through 5. This is the letter of transmittal. This letter is from management's point of view, kind of gives more of an idea of an outlook from management. Audits obviously are looking back at the prior year, so this is a good spot to start to kind of see kind of what management thinks about going forward. Within our report, we have 3 opinions: our independent auditor's report, our report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance, and then our independent auditor's report on compliance and report on internal control over compliance. That one is for our state and federal programs. I'm happy to report all 3 of those are unmodified opinions. That's the best opinion that we can give, so good marks there. We did have one deficiency that we noted this year related to the SEMI program, and the district will be working, doing their corrective actions here in 24-25 to correct that, to basically ensure that we are receiving the full budgeted amount of revenue that the state gives us. In terms of fund balance, district ended June 30th, 2024 with about $7.1 million of fund balance. There is no standard metric for fund balance, but I would say anywhere between 15 to 30% is kind of where I would look to be at, to say you're in a healthy spot. And you guys are at 19%, which is a very healthy spot to be. All good there. We have about $3.1 million that's going to be utilized in future budgets in 24-25 and 25-26. And then we have about $1.5 million and a little over $1 million in our capital and maintenance reserves. These monies are held set aside for future projects. So again, a very healthy fund balance right there. And like I said, overall, the district is in a healthy spot. We do want to thank Amanda. We want to thank Dr. McCooley, the entire board office, for all their help, because audits obviously can be kind of a difficult process, and we're coming in while you guys are trying to do your normal jobs, and we're disturbing that, looking for all this information. So we do appreciate all of the help, and thank you for the teamwork there. And that's basically all I have, but happy to answer any questions if you have any. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, our next presentation is from the Thespian Society.
Well, good evening, everyone. Good to see you. Hello. I'm Chuck Miller, the theater teacher of over 20 years and also the director of the Pinelands Thespians. And we wanted to thank you for the opportunity to share our good news and this presentation with you. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to get right to it. Tonight, we are here to celebrate student success, as you, the board members, will also have the opportunity to help us do that if you so choose. As many of you know, our active theater program, in addition to all the performances throughout the year, take part in several statewide competitions. And while Teen Arts Festival is up and coming, I am here to shamelessly boast about our participation in this year's Speech and Theater Association of New Jersey's annual Governor's Award in Arts competition, long title, and also the New Jersey State Thespian Festival. And let me begin with Stange, please. Pinelands has competed in the Governor's Award competition for the better part of 35 years. Many of us in this room have fond memories of our time as competitors when we were in high school. And in those years, especially the last 20, Pinelands has been extremely fortunate to have an unprecedented student achievement. I could honestly spend all night discussing Stange, but I will spare you of that. let me just say that when it comes to the Governor's Award categories, at least in the last 20 years, no other school has even come close to matching the amount of state award winners and finalists that our competition team has. Even this past year, we had 17 finalists and 20 awards. Many of you have seen our posts, and also thanks to the Cat Eye, our students were well recognized and celebrated. However, what makes this year special, and one of the reasons why we're here, is because we have hit a milestone in which I could never have dreamt possible. 2 milestones, actually. This year, in addition to all the seconds and thirds and fourths and other impressive placings at stands, Summer Hudak has won. Yeah. Summer Hudak has won not one but 2 Governor's Award, one in Senior Scholarship, which is a contrasting monologue category, and one in her dramatic monologue, beating out hundreds upon hundreds of competitors. Summer's wins accomplished 2 great feats. First, because of Summer winning first place, that means that a theater student from Pinelands has won the Governor's Award for a 20th consecutive year. And I want you, there you go, bring it on. And think about that, a student or multiple students from our school winning the highest honor in New Jersey arts for 20 straight years. Not only that, Summer's wins came in 2 different categories, which means that she's awarded 2 medals, in which she's wearing tonight. I am pleased to announce for the first time in public, with these 2 medals, the Performing Arts Department at Pinelands has now reached 100 Governor's Awards medals. 6 in music and 94 in theater, 87 of those coming in the last 20 years. And I know school districts love data, so I will have a little data for you right here. In the last 20 years, the Pinelands Theater Competition has been awarded over 300 awards, and Pinelands has taken home 40% of all first places at Stange. To put that in perspective, if any other school were in first place for the last 35 years, we would have surpassed them by 80 more. Congratulations to Summer. I want to thank her for her congratulations for her victory. In addition to Summer, I just also want to recognize our other first place winner in our pantomime solo category, freshman Emily Rocheski. Here's Emily. Okay. To say we are proud of our students is an understatement. Now, additionally, this year, New Jersey Thespians, once again, we had students ranked superior in multiple categories. These superior rankings are the equivalent of a bid for nationals. Each performer is eligible to attend the competition in the National Festival in Indiana in June. This year, our superior rankings were in tech theater, Ava Wright, in musical solo, Callie Tucker and Julia Snyder, and in musical pairs, Brielle Merklin and Julia Snyder. And once again, our group musical theater selection, which was one of only 5 superiors out of 60 schools, received a superior ranking, earning them a trip to the National Festival. And since the festival coincides with our graduation, unfortunately, we will not be attending. So to help us celebrate the hard work of these students, we will perform for you a group musical theater selection from Natasha, Pierre, and the Great Comet of 1812, which is a musical adaptation of the work of Tolstoy. This number is called Prologue and the opening number of the show. Students, take your places. If you'd like to come out and view from the viewing area, it might be more beneficial for your experience. Also, it's a little tight up there, so we'll see how this works. After the performance, we ask that any board members who are willing to award our students their medals, which they have not yet received until tonight. Thank you so much. And as we said before, tonight we have their medals, which they have not yet received. If anybody, any board members or Dr. McCooley and Ms. Miller wants to come up and hand them out, we will be more than pleased to have you come in and give our students their awards. I would like to also note that that number was choreographed by Mrs. Tony Ann DeFrancia. And under the vocal direction of Miss Emily Chant. And our students, Madeline Hasher, Sophia DeFrancia, Brielle Merklin, Aiden Kane, Julia Snyder, Callie Tucker, Hope Schertenlieb, Evan Wyckoff, Nick Capriati, James Allen, Summer Hudak, Morgan Torgrasso. We have Bridget Stepnowski. We have Aubrey Miller down there. We have Tori Beamer, and we have Ava Lubashevsky. Go ahead, you just place them on whoever you'd like. Thank you so much. Don't worry, I'll put the podium back. And thank you guys so much. One more round of applause for our musical theater group. we will be performing that piece amongst a bunch of others at Teen Arts coming up in March. So in conclusion, I just wanted, first of all, to thank Dr. McCooley and Dr. Frasca for their unwavering support of the arts, Mrs. Amanda Miller for working with us to make sure that we have all the resources we need, and for also being a champion of the arts. You, the board members, who also support not only the arts, but all the students here at Pinelands, and for giving up your time, volunteering, and attending events and meetings and games and all that, and we thank you for that. Having been president of a board myself, I know what a commitment it is, and we just thank you for all the time that you do. Our supervisor, Matt Molesky, and his assistant, Ms. Cheryl Gravatt, who worked tirelessly on our behalf, wanting the best for our students. Mr. Henderson, Mr. Loomis, and Ms. Green, who understand that education is not one size fits all. Ms. Karen Kenny, who was once our supervisor, but as a head of guidance, ensures that all students have the opportunity to participate. Mr. Will Sunderman, who always helps us in need, and as a theater department and athletics often work hand in hand. To our wonderful staff who go above and beyond, our assistant director, Mr. Bart DeFrancia, our choreographer, Mrs. Tonia DeFrancia, choral director, Miss Emily Chant, our costumer, Mrs. Kathleen Barr, our art director, Miss Jane Yeager, our music teacher, Mr. Brian Majoris, set construction, Ken Ballin, and our industrial arts teacher, Mr. John Carmona, and all of our alumni who help us in various roles throughout the district. Ms. Cameron Barr, who does all of our media and relations in addition to costume help. She also helps with the cat eye and teaches English. Ms. Jordan Barr, who designs much of our work and also helps with costuming. And Carter Mathis, our lighting coordinator, who along with Cameron and Jordan help us prepare students for competition and these performances. To the parents and guardians who support and shuffle their children back and forth to rehearsals and shows, and of course to Mr. Rocheski, our custodial and maintenance staff, who do everything they can to ensure that our students have whatever they need. We thank you for helping celebrate our students and hope to see you all at Mean Girls High School Edition, March 6th through 15th, where each of you will have access to 2 free tickets. We thank you very much, and thank you for helping us celebrate our students' success.
Thank you very much for that excellent presentation, but is anyone going to tell us what happened to Andre? I know, we need to know what happened to Andre. We're going to give you guys a moment. We know that some of you need to leave, and we'll give you a moment to do that, and after that we'll follow up with our next presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Definitely a hard act to follow, for sure. So this is a brief presentation on the student safety data system for the 24-25 school year. Every month in your board agenda, you'll see, for informational purposes only, is a summary of the discipline that happens in each building. And this is it combines all the summary from September through December 31st, and we present it now, and at the end of the year we do another summary of that. This report is done every year for the State Department, and it essentially is just making sure that all different types of discipline is documented. So I'm going to have Phil click through and get to the high school, please. Going to high school. Okay, so this is the total for the high school, and again, as I mentioned, every month this is printed on our board agenda at the end for informational purposes only, and this is just a summary of the reports for the high school period from 7/1/24 to 12/31/24. And this is also hyperlinked in everyone's agenda, and it's online available for everyone to review. Next slide, Phil. And we also then have the junior high totals. And these are the only things that are listed that are reportable to the school for the student safety data. There are other things that happen, such as the positive write-ups, but that's not featured here, but that is featured on your monthly reports that you do see in the informational items only. Next slide. We're required to list our HIB trainings and programs for the high school, and then the next slide is the junior high. And you can close to the last slide. So for the HIB training and programs, we do HIB training for district-wide as we open up every school year, and then we continue to do different programs throughout the year. And then that, as I said, was reported by each building as necessary by the State Department. So if you have any questions about the student safety data system, as again, I said, it's hyperlinked, and every month you'll see our list of discipline that we put on our board report so that everyone is able to see, and then this is just a combination of all of it together. Thank you.
Okay, so our mid-year data update. Next slide, please. This was one of our district goals, and you can see this one is pertaining to mental and physical health and wellness. And the main theory here is that we are going to be gathering data on a minimum of 80% of our students in regards to mental health. Just some information for you. The team is currently administering the depression screener to certain groups of students. At this point, they've administered it to 260 students, and 21% of those were flagged based on those results. Additional steps are taken from that. This is some more information for you in terms of our mental health needs in our district, the amount of students that are on homebound, whether they're on either medical or in a facility for some reason pertaining to mental health. And then at the bottom, you can see all of the counseling services that students are receiving in both the high school and the junior high. This is some more information regarding our mental health logs. You can see things ranging from DCP&P contacts to outside counseling, all the way to pest screenings, which are a little more severe. On the right of this slide is our ESS, which is our grant-funded outside company that is in assisting students. They do in-depth counseling with these students throughout the week, whether it's individual and or group. At the high school, they currently have 14, and then the junior high, they have 5, with some more slots available. And then Twilight, we have 10 students currently enrolled, and they all receive mental health supports at the beginning of their day, which is after school. There's a lot of information on this, and as Karen mentioned, I have linked this presentation. You can look it over. We can talk about it further if you'd like, but School-Based Youth Services provides an array of supports to our students on a daily basis. You can see the amount of students they're seeing. In the high school, 43% of the population sees them in some capacity, and at the junior high, it is almost 70%. This next slide is just some more of the programs that they offer, whether it be during the day or after school. A continuation of that, including parent engagement programs and some other services that they offer for our students. Mr. Hand is still being offered as an outside consultant within the district, and you can see some of the work that he does for our school district, including formal referrals to 504 requests and review of those. He also helps us with some psychiatric evaluations, whether it's to review them or to clear kids to come to school. And I need you to understand also the benefit of having him in-house is that we don't have to wait for that outside evaluation to be done, and the students are not losing any education time because he's here to do that right away. District goal number 2 dealt with equity. You can read the goal as a reminder for yourself, and we're just doing some analysis of diverse groups and making sure that we're providing equity-based programs for everybody. This is just some of the professional development that we offer. I basically just pulled and highlighted some of the more in-depth and significant ones that we're offering to our staff, but we do far more than this. Next slide, please. These were some of the offerings that we had on our professional development days, whether it be a full day or half days. Next slide, please. Now, this is not part of our district-wide goal, but I know that we have discussed this at some board meetings, so I wanted to review some of this data with you briefly. I know math has been a concern not only here at Pinelands, within the state, and within the nation. So we are taking the Linkit assessment, and you can see on these slides, you'll see at the top on the left-hand side the average score, and then on the right-hand side you'll see the average score as it's gone up. So we went from a 23 to a 42 on the mid-year, and then the percentage of students either on the bubble, which are those are the ones that we're going to give some extra attention to that we're hoping to meet that standard, and those that are approaching and partially meeting, etc., and the growth that we're seeing in 7th grade. 8th grade is, you're not going to see a significant amount of growth because please understand that a lot of our students in 8th grade that are our better math students are typically taking Algebra 1. So these are our students that may not be more of your strong math students. So we're not seeing as much growth, but you can see the average score went from 21 to 33. This is the junior high Algebra 1. Once again, you can see our score went from an average score went from a 29 to a 43, and then each category is broken down accordingly. In the high school Algebra 1, and the teachers will take this data and they look at those students within their classes that are on the bubble or approaching, and they can do targeted interventions based on each individual student's test scores and breaking it down by an item analysis and by standard. High school geometry. Slide, please. And then this is language arts. So just to explain a little bit of how this works, Form A is orange. That's given in the beginning of the year as a pre-assessment. The pre-assessment in Linkit on Form A covers all of the standards in language arts that they're going to see throughout the school year from September until June. In blue, you're going to see the midterm exam. The midterm exam was only assessed on the standards that they have taught thus far. So it would not cover the entire year. So you're not necessarily comparing apples to oranges here. So you're going to see growth, but like I said, the assessment is a little different. Grade 8, please. Next slide. There's grade 8. Grade 9. Now, grade 9 was a little interesting. Those are two separate standards. So you'll see in the one on the left-hand side, it went down a little bit, but then on the right, it went up significantly. So if we were to look at that data a little bit deeper, we would see where the focus is typically relying heavy on the standard on the right and not necessarily on the left. So we would have to make sure that there's a balance of that before the end of the year. There's grade 10 ELA and the 4 standards that it was covering. Grade 11. And then lastly, I just wanted to highlight once again all of the programs that we're offering here at Pinelands, and we really have something for everyone, from reading intervention to dual enrollment and AP courses, things for our junior ROTC, a lot of the performing arts as you saw this evening, online courses. Our Twilight's been very significant and effective, and just really something for everyone. So I'd like to thank the board for all your support with those programs, and our staff, teachers, and our administration for supporting the programs as well. Are there any questions? All right, thank you. I think we have one more.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Kimberly Clark. I am the Director of Research, Planning, and Evaluation. I jokingly refer to myself as the head nerd of the district because I like spreadsheets and I like doing things like writing grants. So I am super excited to talk to you about some of the things that I'm working on this year. So these are some of the topics that we are going to cover. I did make some notes because I am very passionate about all these things and I can speak for a long time. So at the end, if you have questions, I'm happy to explain a little more. So as I mentioned, one of my roles is grant writing. So these first 2 grants are mental health focused. The first is the School-Based Mental Health Services Grant. This is a 5-year grant in which we're in year 3. And the total funding that we're receiving from this grant is $1.25 million. The second one, which is a sister grant to the School-Based Mental Health Services Grant, is our Mental Health Screening in Schools Grant. That is a 4-year grant, the funding of which totals $250,000. The project lead for, can we go back? The project lead for these grants is Janelle Gonzalez. These are district-wide grants that we partner with Georgian Court University with for their Master's in School Psychology program and Stockton University with their Master's in Social Work program. Through these grants this year, we've been able to supervise 5 internships, which is 3 social worker interns and 2 school psychology externs. We have been able to offer a mental health professional development academy for our staff, which has bi-monthly mental health training for our staff and is also offering a book club. The book is featured there, The Anxious Generation. We are able to employ a full-time mental health professional. We can contract with an outside mental health consultant, which expedites the time frame with which our students are able to receive screenings and more intensive mental health services. We have been able to implement a mental health universal screener at the high school, as well as make a depression screener available for students who are flagged by the universal screener. The next grant is a climate change grant. It's a 2-year grant for which we received $75,000 this year. The project leads for this grant are Alex Henderson and Jim Ardwin. We also work with a community partner for this grant, and that is Blessings and Blooms. Some of you might remember the Cross family who visited us last fall. They have been integral in helping us to establish how to create a junior high school garden, which is the focus of this grant. This is a junior high garden project, which we have written a curriculum focused on climate change. We have built a fence and purchased materials to support 32 garden beds adjacent to this junior high media center and the Wildcat Shack. The produce from our junior high school garden will be available to students and the school community free of charge. And if it's approved tonight, we also hope to host an 8th grade field trip to Lucas Greenhouse and the Save Barnegat Bay Eco Center in Toms River on March 11th. As the science supervisor, I believe students should be doing science in its natural environment, so I always hope to get students outside, and this grant is one of the grants that we are helping to do that with. Stockton University, one of our partners, has a climate change grant also that we are using to help educate our students on Pinelands ecology and maple sugaring. Jim Ardwin is really the lead contact for this grant. At the junior high, our 7th grade students are learning about basic Pinelands ecology, such as the fact that blueberries grow right here in our woods. At the high school, we have a maple grove that we've used grant-funded materials to tap with a vacuum system. If you hit the next button, you'll get to actually see the sap coming out of our trees through the vacuum system. So our tree sap from this vacuum system we collect, our students collect it, we store it, and then the sap is boiled and returned to us as maple syrup. It takes approximately 60 gallons of sap, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, depending on the sugar content, to make 1 gallon of syrup. I have some lovely assistants here, Mr. Shore, our junior high school principal, and Mr. Henderson. This is Pinelands maple syrup that was boiled for us by Stockton. It came from our trees, and we want to provide a sample of that to you. Anybody who's here in the audience is also able to have a sample of this. If you head to the back, Miss Kim Olszewski has our maple syrup and cups, and you are welcome to try our homemade maple syrup. Once again, this is really exciting. It speaks to our students about climate change. It shows them what's available to us right here in the Pinelands. It gets our students outside learning about science where it happens. Good, right? So traditionally in Vermont, it's the sugar maples that are tapped. We are tapping red maple trees, so the sugar content is a little lower, which is why we need more gallons of syrup to produce 1 gallon of sap to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. As everybody's tasting, I'm going to move on to my next slide because, as I said, I'm very passionate and I can speak about many of these things for a long time. One of the largest projects I'm working on coordinating is funding for our dam deregulation. This is put under grants because we're using funding from a partnership with Rutgers University to begin one phase of our larger dam project, our larger project design. There is a really long history related to the dam and the deregulation, which I'm not going to go into tonight. Currently, though, we are awaiting approval from our permit application prior to removing the remnants of the dam structure that's still out in our cranberry bogs. So on this property, Pinelands Regional owns 3 bogs that are behind the high school. What we are hoping to do through our project is create 3 ecosystems. So each bog would have a different ecosystem. We'd like to engage in habitat mitigation, which means returning the previously flooded dams to their original state through plantings of native flora and adding beaver dam analogs to help fill those bogs a little more. Through our project design, we plan to establish a hiking trail with boardwalks, add an outdoor classroom and storage for our ecology and environmental science classes to use throughout the day. We plan to create a trailhead and parking lot for public access to our trails and install bridges and overlooks for recreational use. Funding, right? That's always the question. Greenvest is a company whose agreement is on the agenda this evening. This company has been contracted by the New Jersey Department of Transportation to restore or mitigate wetlands in the watersheds that are being negatively impacted by a parkway widening project. If Greenvest's proposal is approved, they would pay us in money or in-kind services to mitigate our wetlands so that we could put a permanent conservation easement on the 3 bogs and fund the project that I just mentioned. Since that is not a guarantee, I'm still working on NOAA grant applications that would more than cover the cost of our bog mitigation project at $2 million. Various organizations, as you can see, are working on our school district, are working with our school district to see this project to fruition. They're listed on the slide. Our partnerships and dam project management group, Princeton Hydro, have really been critical to the success of the project thus far and to sharing funding opportunities that arise. All right, partnerships. So we are working right now with Southern Ocean Medical Center, and that's for our biomedical academy. Our students have the opportunity to intern at the hospital once a month, where they get to experience all of the departments at SOCH, from pharmaceuticals to radiology. We are also working with Viking Yachts to establish an apprenticeship program. We have a tour planned in a few weeks with their executive VP so that we can discuss options that will be made available to our students. So I'm really happy that I presented when I did, because I think that this just reinforces the work and how we're all working towards the same district goals, including mental and physical health and wellness and equity. As Dr. McCooley mentioned, we do offer professional development to our staff in full or half-day PD opportunities, and these are some of the dates of those opportunities that happen this year. I do chair 3 district committees, and I do want to thank the Board of Education for your continued support of our work. We do try to make sure that students, staff, Board of Ed members, and community members are represented on all of our committees. So first, I'd like to mention the Student Achievement Leadership Team, which we call SALT. This committee works to review district policies and practices to ensure that they are in alignment with what we have approved by the Board of Education. We have a Power and Unity group that serves as our diversity committee. This group has reestablished itself over the years, and as a result, we're working on serving as an advisory council for the district. This group helped to plan some of the PD opportunities that Dr. McCooley spoke about earlier, and is currently drafting a new mission statement. I also chair the District School Improvement Panel, which we call SKIP. Each school building has a SKIP team, and our district team works to coordinate events to ensure consistency between the high school and the junior high school SKIP committees. Through the district SKIP committee and the recommendation of the New Jersey Department of Education, we launched a new climate survey platform this year that Rutgers University sponsors, entitled the New Jersey School Climate Platform and Survey, NJSCI for short. Our survey recently closed, and at our next district SKIP meeting, we'll review the results and make recommendations based on them. Pinelands Regional High School offers 2 academic academies, the Biomedical Academy and the Humanities and Law Academy. Our enrollment in both of these academies is growing. Currently, the Biomedical Academy has 39 students, and the Humanities and Law Academy has 41 students. The lead for these academies is Sue Railman. These academies act as a scholarship program for the students that are involved. This scholarship funds 2/3 of the cost of the dual enrollment courses that are offered through the academy. So this can save our college-bound students thousands of dollars in tuition fees. All right, the last two things. Earth Day bog cleanup. We are doing an early bird special. I know Earth Day is until April, but we are on spring break at that time. So our early bird Earth Day bog cleanup is March 22nd from 9 to 11 a.m. We do meet on the picnic benches behind the high school cafeteria. All are welcome to attend. We do provide gloves, snacks, bags, everything needed to help do the bog cleanup. Some pictures from last year. And lastly, on the horizon, the New Jersey Department of Education is requiring school districts to submit a comprehensive equity plan, which is due in June of this year. We are establishing an affirmative action team, which is also on the agenda tonight for your approval. This affirmative action team will assess our needs, put our plan together, and then submit a plan for you guys to approve so that we can submit it to the New Jersey Department of Education in June. Thank you for your time and for helping us to provide such rich opportunities for our students through these various programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Clark and Mrs. Kenny and Dr. McCooley for those presentations. We'll move to item 6, board forum.
I have a little something for us. I just wanted to give a little update on the CUSAC meeting that was held on February 21st. Of course, I'm going to lose. There we go. It was led by Dr. Frasca, discussing the district's performance and district improvement plan. The CUSAC score for instruction and program fell at 72%, short of the 80% target that we needed. The 28-page plan was approved on January 27th, which includes 5 goals. Increasing ELA achievement using in-house assessments, improving mathematics performance, enhancing science achievement in grades 8 and 11, ensuring 40% of students meet or exceed standards in ELA, and 7th grade math. Various staff members are working on this development improvement plan, or district improvement plan. Check conducted in June.
Thank you. Anybody else for board forum? New business? Old business?
Know that information.
What I would ask is that the business administrator send whatever you were able to find. It's just send, yeah, just whatever the note, whatever minutes.
Issue that you handled because you said that you got it paid down. or that you got it down. Yeah. Well, I'm just following up because you said you were going to direct me to where those meetings were so I could watch them, and then you never. Okay. Again, I didn't get an email like saying, "Hey, it was an executive. I can't tell you what it's about." But I feel like as a board member now, even if it was something before my tenure, I should be able to get that information.
We'll see what the notes or minutes reflect. If it's appropriate to just release it out.
Okay. How would it not be appropriate to release to a board member if we voted on paying for it on a bills list?
Again, I don't know what the notes demonstrate. I approach, and I think I've seen it before. Not always entirely true. There'll be certain personnel matters, student matters, have you. You just don't have the right to go. Matters. Nevertheless,
But
if it is appropriate,
we
and
voted on
and
it
we're-
when I was here, though, as a board member.
I don't.
And you're billing us for Internal Revenue Services documents and relating, so it's stuff that at the time I should be made aware of, or like if I have a question, I should be privy to that question about why we're paying $115,000 of district money to the IRS.
Yeah, as I said, I'll take a look at it. If it's appropriate, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, this is not.
And then I have a question for Mr. Donio. Who is your client?
Who is my client?
Yeah. Is
In
it
what-
the board or
in a-
just McCooley, or is it both the board and Miss McCooley?
Well, it is the Board of Education, whose chief school administrator is Dr. McCooley, who shall have a seat on the board, but shall have no vote.
Okay.
So but the entity is my client.
The entity of the board is your client.
Yeah, the Board of Education, Pinelands Regional School District is my client.
Okay. And so any communication that you send to Miss McCooley to send to us is not under client attorney
It
privilege,
absolutely
correct?
is. No, it absolutely is.
Even though she's not paying your bills, we are.
It doesn't matter who's paying. I'm dealing with the
But-
chief. Again,
Okay.
on the rules of professional conduct, the entity is my client.
Okay.
Nevertheless, in dealing with the entity's representatives, including but not limited to, in particular, a Board of Education with a chief school administrator, the New Jersey courts have found consistently not only are they my client, but in fact, when I ask them to do things on my behalf, whether it be create logs, create
Okay.
information, that's
Just to answer
attorney
the
work
question,
product.
is her emails that you send to her to send to us, they're covered under confidentiality of client attorney?
It depends. Yeah, I would anticipate yes, but unless you have a specific email you want me to look at.
Yeah, I sent it to Dave. I was told that it was client attorney confidentiality, which it wasn't because it was a board matter, and you sent her an email to send to us.
Again, I'll take a look at whatever it is you're asking about.
Anything else under old business?
New business. We're doing new business, right?
I'm sorry. Either one.
Oh, no business.
Yeah. That's okay.
Did anybody get a chance to look at the invoices I sent from Cooper Levinson to review them? Or who else would I be speaking?
Did you send them to? We're just asking
Yeah,
who
I
you sent them to.
to Crystal after you said you didn't get it. I sent them to Dave, Lisa Betty, Patty Martin, and Mr. Vox.
You didn't send them to everybody.
No, because I don't communicate with Miss McVeigh, Bonneke, or DeLeo.
Okay.
They wouldn't look at it anyway, because
So when you're asking if we reviewed them, do you have anything specific you're asking about?
I'm just asking if you looked them over.
Yes, I looked at them. I can't speak for everybody else, but I
No,
looked at
that's
them.
fine. I was just curious. Okay. Okay. I might have sent it to like the wrong email.
Happens to me because my email.
I don't know what she sent. I don't know I mean, they're invoices. Okay. I don't have a problem with the board looking at the invoices we submit.
Yeah, they're operable, so that's why I sent them.
Some of them are, yes.
Anything else? Anybody else? We will move on to item number 7, Residents Forum, agenda items only. Board policy number 0167 encourages community participation in every meeting. However, the board requests that the public respect a 3-minute time limit when commenting on agenda items. Seeing we have no one for a residents forum, let's move on to item number 8, instructional. May I have may I have a motion to approve instructional items A through E? Any questions? If there are no questions, we'll move to a vote. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Item number 9, personnel. Recommend a motion to approve personnel items A through P. May I have a motion, please? Any questions?
I had a question about D, new hires. Sarah Gleason already an employee? I just didn't know if it was the same Sarah Gleason or a different.
Yes, Maris, she is, right? Ms. Johnson?
Yes, I just didn't know if it was like the secretary that would have to resign to take the new position. If that's how it should have been worded. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing no questions, roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes, except O, no.
Yes.
Yes to all, abstain from letter O. Moving on to item number 10, recommend motion to approve the following HIB item A. May I have a motion?
Second.
Any questions? Seeing there are no questions, roll call vote, please.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Questions? Call vote, please.
Yes.
Yes. Item number 12, operations. Recommend motion to approve the following operations, items A through G. I have a motion, please.
Motion.
Are there any questions? Seeing there are no questions, we'll have a roll call vote.
Yes to all, EF recuse.
Yes.
Yes. Item 13, report of board secretary, business administrator. Recommend the motion to approve the report of the board secretary, business administrator, items A through K. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Are there any questions?
Employees approximately have their work pressure.
Any other questions? Go to a roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Item 14 are informational items that include the monthly attendance, discipline reports, and security drill. Item 15, residents forum, general topics. Board policy 0167 encourages community participation in every meeting. However, the board requests that the public respect a 3-minute time limit when commenting on any. Are no comments from the public. We will move to item 16, board forum. Start with Max.
I have nothing. I have nothing.
We'll go to Crystal Martin. Ms. McVeigh?
Thank you, President David. I would also like to say it was a doubly sweet night tonight. We had a sweet presentation and some sweet maple syrup. Just amazing stuff here tonight. I'd also like to congratulate all the winter sports, but I'd particularly like to give a shout out to wrestling here in town for probably over 30, 35 years. Jake and Wyatt started out as little peanuts in the youth wrestling program. They both placed in the districts this past weekend. This coming weekend with hopes of placing in the top 4 to punch their ticket to the state tournament that it's held in Atlantic City. It's something that little guys dream about when they first start wrestling, and I wish them the best of luck and hope that their dreams come true and they make it down to Atlantic City. I'd also like to thank Dr. Clark for her continued dedication to every aspect of learning and development for our students and our staff. The dam/bog has been an adventure to say the least. Her perseverance and tenacity in that regard is much appreciated. Thank you.
We'll go over to Mr. Vaux.
Good luck to the boys basketball team on Wednesday in their state playoff game, and thank you for this year.
Miss Betty.
Echoing what everybody said so far, and definitely we'll see you all at the show in March. Dr. Clark, you certainly know how to present. Right, grants, very, very impressive.
Thank you. Miss Johnson.
Congratulations to the students of the month.
Just want to echo the congratulations to the groups that presented tonight to the Thespians. It's great to be able to see so many of the positive things that are going on in our school district. We're so thankful for the administrators and the teachers, the advisors, the coaches, the other staff members who put so much time and effort into making sure that our students have a great experience here. And your positive influence goes a long way. You don't always see it right away, but it makes a difference in the lives of the kids, and we really appreciate that, and it's great to be able to celebrate that tonight. That being said, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. Meeting adjourned.